All right, party people. This is your man Griff here. Going to do a quick interview tonight, this evening, or whatever time it is for you, with our wonderful notary signing agent Jasmine. She's all the way out there in Tennessee, correct?
Correct.
There you go. So the reason why we wanted to do this interview is because we was talking the other day, and she was telling me that she finally got her very first full refinance package, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And make sure you talk up a little bit louder.
Okay. Okay.
So she got her very first refinance package, and she's sorry about that, y'all. She started back in late February, correct?
End of February.
Right. And during that time, she had been doing a whole bunch of other smaller jobs, correct?
Correct.
All right. So talk to us about that.
At the very beginning, wasn't getting much. Was getting things like people the car refinances from companies like Accurate Group. I was getting those often. I also got what is the deed only. Griff, is that what you consider it? Where they're just doing like quick claims?
Correct.
Is that
Correct.
what? So I would get I got a few of those, and I got the car refinances and things of that sort, making me in the range of $40 to $50 a piece. And during that time, it got me comfortable. Just navigating the different signing agent platforms and communicating with the title companies as well as the lenders. So from the end of February to about just here recently, that's the bulk of what I've been doing.
Sorry about that, y'all. It seems like every time I get on these videos, I start coughing. I've been doing fine. I don't know what it is. I'll figure it out one day. Just trying to mess all this stuff up. So the point what we were talking about here is that Jasmine started in late February, early March. Yeah. And so basically it's been about 4 months since you got started before you had your first actual refinance. So we know a lot of notaries are real big on trying to get the refinance. They want that. But as me and you was talking the other day, I asked you a couple of questions, and one of the questions was, if you hadn't done any of those other notary assignments, how do you think you would have felt and fared doing your very first refinance, knowing that it's been 4 months, you hadn't done hadn't done anything, and then all of a sudden, boom, you got this assignment, and they're like, go.
Right. And as I was telling you the other day, I would have fell flat on my face, and I would have, in my opinion, I would have been overwhelmed. There
Right.
would have been too many nerves wrapped up in that first refinance signing, because at that point, now I have experience with reading over the documents, making myself familiar with the different lender or title company requirements, calling the borrower,
Right.
Confirming the different appointments, all of that. So that part was out of the way. I wasn't fluttered with the minute things when it comes to the refinance. I had time to focus on the document, flip through it. Since it was my first time, this was my first time seeing these different documents.
Right.
So I had to study them to a certain degree. I had to, some of them I had to do a little, watch a couple of YouTube videos on. And at that point, I got to where once I got to the signing, I was comfortable. I was comfortable with the, being in front of the borrower, organizing whatever I needed to organize as far as my supplies,
Right.
and it was I was good to go. But it would not have been like that if this was end of February. It would have been a totally different ball game.
Yeah, and see, that's one of the things that, y'all know I've been saying this the whole time, and I know it goes against what Facebook and all these other people say. Everybody's like, forget that, don't do this order, don't do that type of order. The dollar amount is not the right, it's not worth it's not the time that you spend doing the order, you're not making any money and all of that, but you're missing out on the opportunity to gain some experience. You're missing out on the opportunity to actually learn a little bit about the documents and a little bit about the process that it takes in getting prepared to meet the clients. You're interacting with the signing company or that contracting company. You're interacting with people if there's a problem. I mean, all of the stuff that you could have doing a refinance in these smaller, you could say less important orders, you're dealing with the same thing, and there's not that pressure on you as it would be your very first order, and it's 200 pages, or let's just say, and it's your case, I don't think was yours wasn't the same day, was it? Meaning you got the order on the same day that you had to do the closing.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was
within 4 hours. I was at work. I got the order notification popped up, and it was maybe noon around my lunch, and it was set for 5 o'clock that evening. So
see, the way you came across so smooth with it, I was thinking you had a couple of days. Now, see, here's the other part that that is also interesting is that you didn't even call me until after.
Right.
You didn't call me until after to ask one small question. Other than that, you had a handle on everything you needed. And personally, I believe it's because you had gotten into, as you said, the word that you said, and I agree with it, you had gotten into the right mindset because you took those other orders and it got you thinking in that direction. To go from not thinking about how to prepare for an order, and you spend 4 months sitting on the sideline, waiting, and then all of a sudden, boom. And like I have up on the screen right now, the initials TBD means to be determined. Those are some of the best orders for me because it means you can coordinate the time with the signers. And and I'm sort of thrown back because there's a lot of people who didn't know what those acronyms or those initials meant. So they was overlooking those orders because they're like, well, I don't know what that means. And I always say, then ask, take the order. Just go ahead on and take the order and then call them and say, hey, just wanted to make sure I understood what TBD means. Don't worry about if you look not knowing, like you don't know a whole lot. Mm-hmm. It's okay. They would rather you call and ask. So what I'm seeing here, and that's why I wanted to do this quick interview with y'all. And again, sorry about that, y'all, with the coughing and everything. I'm better now. But what I wanted to do was to give y'all real proof that I ain't talking out the side of my neck. That when I say, if you take these smaller orders as a way to get your feet wet, to get yourself geared up, because again, as I talked about in some of my other videos, and I think they're in my Notary Basics playlist, you have to have the business mindset. And you can't have a business mindset if you're not out there conducting business. If you're sitting there waiting, and you're only going to do, you're passing up opportunities to actually make some money and get some valuable experience so that when the 150 page, the 200 page or whatever, or that very, very last minute order comes, you'll be able to do it. And you don't have to worry about, well, I don't know how to download the documents, but you've already done that. I don't know what I'm going to say when I first call the signers. You've already done that. All of this stuff that you got to do now for your very first refinance, you've already done that 5, 10, 15, 20 times. And it's just a walk in the park for you. Now you just got to focus on, as you shared, the documents. You don't have to worry about all the other logistics because you got them logistics down pat. You know what to do. The only difference is the type of closing or assignment you have and the number of pages. And throughout the process, now with the other orders, what was the average number of notarizations you was doing for those? Probably what, 2 or 3, somewhere like that.
Right. At the most 3. And these
3 at the
were
most 3.
at the max. I think I only had 25 pages before, with two notarizations, and maybe about only 9 signatures on the
Right.
borrower's end. So some
Okay.
very, very small, very small.
So okay. Now let me ask you this:
Mhm.
the notarizations, the statements, the notarial acknowledgement statements that you saw in those smaller orders, did you see the same type of ones in the refinance package?
Yes. Yes.
So
So
that's
it was I had already had my feet wet when it came
Mhm.
to doing the notarial certifications.
Right. So the same certificates, basically the same layout, the state of, county of, the statement there, this acknowledgement, this was acknowledged before me on this date. All of that you had already seen because you had seen them in the other orders.
I had even had couple of times I've notarized in different counties, and it kind of you have to pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Right.
If you're able, if you can, I can notarize in the state you're in, but you have to look at that person's address, and you still have to put in the notarial statement. I had to put Shelby County, but it was another section that asks for the county that the
Right.
borrower lived in. So just all those specs and reading through and making sure you as a notary are just following instructions and reading and going through the, like you said, through the process of it all.
Gotcha.
The experience was already there. So yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. So, like I said, I wasn't gonna keep you long and everything. We only been on here, I told you, about no more than 15 minutes. But everybody, I don't know what else you need to hear from me or from anybody, that taking these smaller orders, there's nothing wrong with them. Do the orders and everything will fall in place. You'll make some money. Yes, technically you may say I'm in the negative on it, but at the end of the day, you still got a whole year that you're working in. So it's not like you got to be a 100% profit on every single order. And if that's what you're looking for, then honestly, this ain't the right business for you, because I've never heard any notary signer out there saying that they're 100% profit on every single order. I mean, you literally will have to make about $300 per signing in order for you to be able to say that after the travel, the this, the that, and the other, I'm 100% profit. I still got $150 or $200 that I'm taking home after that, and that's very impossible to do. That's very impossible. So, Jasmine, thank you very much for your
I
time.
did want to say one more
Oh,
thing.
go for it.
Yeah, so I just want to piggyback off what you were saying. How, it's just so totally worth it, especially if the signings are in your area, and you're not wasting too much on gas and supplies to get the smaller orders. Where it's only 2 notarizations, and in my case, all of the signings have been in my area. It it didn't cost me much of anything to go do the smaller ones, get the experience, get my feet wet. And it was, in the end, it's profitable, because also the different notary, the different signing companies, they see that you're taking those smaller jobs and that you want to work, and you're getting different orders, and it starts to stack up, and they see that you have the experience. Because I know on my end, I wasn't even getting those refinance packages at first, because I was told a couple of times that I did not have enough experience. And as now I'm at about 8 or 9 orders, and I have a high ranking on a couple of platforms. I think that's saying a lot to the companies, and I'm starting to get recognized and getting called for those bigger orders. So definitely don't overlook the small stuff. We have to. Everybody has to grow and you know get better. So that's all I had to say.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
look, young lady, I appreciate you. Um, this was right on point. I'm serious. And me and Jasmine been texting and talking for the whole time. You know that she's been a signing agent and she has done good and she's going to continue to do good. So she's just an example, proof positive that the information that's been shared on this channel has worked and it does work and it's helped. And other people have said the same thing to me. And all that. I just haven't had a chance to catch up with them to do an interview. But I'm not giving y'all information that's going to cause you to fail. It's going to cause you to succeed. You just have to go out here and be willing to give it a shot. So thank you very much, Jasmine. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna end the broadcast and then we'll finish talking. All right. Well, so party people, y'all have a good day and thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.